What's up, everybody? Nova here again. Today we're going to be going over part two of the little basic to charting series that we're doing right now. If you didn't watch the last video we went over horizontal support and resistance lines, and today we plan on going over trend lines. Um, Again, trend lines are another key tool used in trading. It can help you determine where a stock is heading, and it also, in combination with the support and resistance lines, can give you another key idea of what may happen to price when it reaches a given area. So I'm going to go over a quick review on the horizontal support and resistance lines real quick. I'm going to get a quick one charted up right here. Right now we're looking at Baidu on the 30-minute candles. And so we are looking, we see it came down right here and it bounced. I'm going to go to the candle bodies. So down, bounce, down, bounce, down, bounce. So you got a pretty good support made right here. And then we're going to go look for resistance, resistance. So I'm looking at two resistances right now. Um, I'm looking at potentially this right here. Granted, this is a pretty big resistance. I usually don't like to make them that big, but price came up into this area, rejected, tried to go back up into that area and rejected again. So, it is a valid resistance. And then I also see a mini resistance right here where price is currently at. So it came down, bounced, came to this resistance, rejected, bounced, came to this resistance, rejected, and now it's retesting it. So this is definitely something interesting to keep on watch for tomorrow's trading day. I will definitely be taking a look at this and trying to get an update on it. But let's get ahead. Let's start looking at trend lines today. So trend lines, just like horizontal support and resistance lines, you're going to be looking for a pattern. You're going to be looking for a common area where the stock is bouncing off of. I typically like to keep trend lines more um, more intraday. I I personally myself as a trader, I use trend lines as a reference point, but I mainly stick to my support and resistance lines. Those, trend lines uh can, just like support and resistance lines, can fail as well. So it's just a good it's kind of a how should I say, it's not really, it's just a support line. Like, so the bottom of a trend line, let's see, I'll give you an example right here. So we're going to go from the bottom of, let me zoom in a little bit to make it easier to see. We're going to go from the bottom of this candle wick right here. So we're going to take our charting tool. I'm going to make it green because it is kind of like a support. So we're going to go from the bottom of this wick right here. And then I'm looking, and as you can see, the stock price is, it's not going, um, it's not going, completely vertical, but it's moving up in sort of a diagonal way. So we're going to look at the bottom of this candlestick right here, and I'm going to plop that trend line right there. And if you take a look, you can see that the price came down to right here, bounced up, came down to right here, bounced up, came down to right here, and bounced again. So it's almost acting as if it's a support, and it's hoping the stock maintain the trend that it's in, and it's currently going in a uptrend. Granted, it did trade a little bit more sideways today. It's a little bit harder to give you guys a good example of today just due to SPY selling off randomly in the middle of the day. Well, multiple times selling off. So the fact that this one was able to maintain this sort of consolidation phase throughout the whole day, it didn't dip down too much, it didn't go up too much, that's really solid. So here we go. Here's our trend line. So another thing that traders also use trend lines for is buying opportunities. So just like if a stock holds a support, that's a potential buying opportunity. Granted, you have to, use your own precautions, go into your trades with a plan, all of that stuff. I don't even want to get into that because that can get overcomplicated. But um, just like trend lines, sometimes people will come take trades off of trend lines and play them up. So that's another thing that trend lines are extremely useful for, is finding those um, finding those opportunities that give you possibly a better entry. So we have our uptrend right here. Now let's also look at another thing. So if you trend lines can be played both ways. You have your uptrends and your downtrends. So now let's take a look. Let's go from the top of this candle right here and let's play it down. So not the best. Maybe we'll move it down to right here. Uh, okay, so yeah, so this works. So this is a good example actually. So let's take a look at this. So right here, we're playing off this trend line. So came down, rejected, came up, rejected, rejected, excuse me, off this trend line right here. And if you take a look, it actually broke over the trend line. And if you can see, so it broke over the trend line. And if you can see, price came down, tested right here from the wick. It opened up, so it opened up right here, came down and tested, and then bounced back up. So now this is another thing that where incorporating both of these tools into your trading style becomes helpful is so if you were trading solely off of trend lines, well, this looks like it broke its trend, which when something breaks its trend to the upside, which this is sort of a wedge or a pennant, or even if you go to a higher time frame, this could be the flagpole and this could be a bull flag. But if you take it and you're solely trading trend lines, you look. So let's draw this out. So you look. Oops, let me change it to green. It it broke over. It came down and retested. We're on a higher time frame, so it's going to be fewer candles. Came down and retested, and then you would expect it to go up to its next resistance level, which we would chart right here. So this potentially would be a buying opportunity for you if this is something that you're looking to take. But now that we know how to use horizontal support and resistance lines, let's go back in and draw those horizontal support and resistance lines. So we're going to draw them real quick. They're not going to be perfect. I just want to give a general idea. So we got our support right here, and then we have a resistance, resistance right here. Like I said, not perfect, but we're making it work. So we got resistance right here. It's not letting me edit the box. It's okay. I think you guys get the point. And then we'll have another resistance right here. So back to the point that I was making, if you were trading this solely off of trend lines, you might forget the fact, or not the fact, but you might, not notice that it's at a resistance right now. So what you would want to do if you were considering to take a trade, the smart thing, or what majority of traders would do is they would wait for this resistance level to break so that that trade once it breaks over the resistance level and confirms it's over the resistance level. Well, if you take a look right here, there's not any resistances stopping you from going up to the other resistance level. So the only thing that has the possibility of weighing down the stock is itself, the buyers. And if buyers all of a sudden leave, or potentially if thousands of different things could happen. Spies drops or something along those lines, bad news, whatever. But let's say in perfect market conditions where we're not going to take those into account right now. If you were to take this trade, well, you have your horizontal, so you have your trend line charted. It broke over your trend line, which is bullish. That's good. And then you would wait for confirmation over the resistance line that's sitting right here, that it's active, that it's currently at. So, and then once it confirms over the resistance, this could be a possible trade to take to the upside to test this other resistance. Granted, that's perfect market conditions. There's tons of different things that could happen, tons of things that could go wrong. But, incorporating the main point is that incorporating these tools together is very helpful to help you as a trader, find those patterns that are most effective. And another thing with trend lines that you can take a look at is, well, if you take a look right here, you gotta kind of gotta mess around with them a little bit. Baidu was in a pretty good uptrend. So uptrend, this could be your flagpole, and this could be the flag if you're looking at patterns. And then let's take a look. So right here, just go around and you can start just trying to practice charting these by going to candles, trial and error, going to candles, taking a look. Okay, so it's not perfect, but you can see the picture right here that at this point it went into a downtrend. So it came up rejected, came up rejected. So there's another spot. Let's take a look at a random ticker. I haven't charted anything for this right here. So um let's go see. We're looking at a downtrend right here. So let's uh let's get this charted. So, we're going from the top of candles. It's maintaining that downtrend. And then we can also kind of, this might be stretching it. Don't, let me just see. Yeah, that's doing a little bit, that's stretching it a little too far. But for example, right here, like I said, it broke through. Let me zoom this up. It, uh, it broke through. Here we go. It broke through this trend line and then it came down. This red candle came down, tested the trend line, and it bounced up. So it went from being in a downtrend to now we could come over here and we could delete this. Oops, delete this, and we could start charting an uptrend. And granted, it did break this uptrend. Like I said, today's not the best day to be trying to do trend lines just because the market was so up and down. But I want to give you guys you know, I want to give you guys somewhat of a tool that you can start incorporating into your, more into your trades within conjunction to the horizontal support and resistance lines. So let's do one more quick thing with Spotify real quick. Let's say that we're in the market right now. Well, I notice a downtrend, so and this isn't perfect. I'm sorry. I don't want to make the video too long. I just want to give the general idea, but we could see this downtrend right here and then it pops up. So, trying to just find trend lines to help yourself either, take better trades or possibly enter trades or, get better entries and all of that is super important. And then, combining it with horizontal support and resistance lines will help give you a solid idea of potentially where that price can go. So, if a stock gets over resistance, holds it and tests it, well, it might turn that into a support and push up to the next resistance, which is a good sign. Or if a stock fails a support, drops below a support, and then while it's under that support, comes up and tests it, trying to get back over to reclaim it, but it rejects, well, now that can turn into a resistance line, and you could start looking for that stock to go to the next support under it. So, taking those tools into consideration, combining them to be, as effective as possible, and to help you, as you're trading, is just super important to start off the basics with charting. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. For part 3, I don't really know what I'm going to do yet. There definitely will be another video coming out. Um, but yeah, and like I said last video, this is kind of cliche, but feel free to give the video a like, feel free to subscribe, and then if you would like to share this with anybody that's trying to get into charting, please feel free. And also, um, if you do start charting some trend lines and you'd just like to get some confirmation, feel free to send them to me, and I'll give you give you some advice, give you some pointers, or tell you how it looks. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.